Never over time. OT, baby. Whew.
Baby.
Woo, what a show.
I wonder when the administration puts together their agenda for the day, do they go outnumbered?
Yep.
News conference.
No, I've got a theory that if any Fox show would like to have the press conference during their show, just have me on. Seems to follow me wherever I go.
Is that true?
Oh, with Trish,
Oh, no.
Regan's show, with
Is that true?
Kabuto's.
I didn't know that.
It is true.
You should have warned us, Ned.
Why didn't you tell
I'm
us?
sorry. Next time, now everybody's been fairly warned. If you would like the press conference to be during your show, just have me on.
All right.
Yeah.
What'd you think of that one?
Funny. I'll start. It was terrible. I'm sick of Sean Spicer because he's new to the crowd. He doesn't know what he's going to say.
Megan's voice.
I was going to say.
Well, you were hesitating. So.
I did hesitate, but Megan said it first. Megan said it first. They have to figure out their messaging.
Yes.
They've got to figure out the messenger. They've got to figure out a messaging
Sandra said,
strategy.
though, how hard can that be?
Oh, did I say
promise something on Monday? How hard can it be?
Yeah, I think that's just an old story, though. I mean, they've got an issue, they don't acknowledge it, and they keep moving
forward. But what's
forward
the root of the problem? We say there's a communications
part of the
issue.
problem is
Does that
Bannon.
come from President Trump? Is that a Sean Spicer problem? You got to get to the root of it to figure out how to make it better.
I think part of the problem, knowing Bannon doesn't really care about some of the press, the narrative, the stories. He just never has.
That's
and
crazy
I've known Bannon for a few years.
He used to work
again,
in media.
Right, I know, Breitbart. But the part of the problem is if you start losing the narrative, you're going to create even stronger headwinds for your agenda. You're going to be fighting, which I think are some of these ridiculous stories about refusal.
It's so bad it looks purposeful. For him to me, the biggest takeaway was for him to say, I have no answer. I don't know. You just lost the ability.
Yeah, 48 hours.
That's crazy to me. It almost looks like he's doing it on purpose. But how do you show up ill-prepared like that?
And what did we talk about yesterday, or what dominated cable news? April Ryan. All over. Nothing he said about their agenda. Nothing. It was the fact that he got in a fight with a journalist.
Come on, at least he was kind of funny. I mean, that was every headline everywhere. It was like every social media, top of the list.
But you lost 24 hours, which is vital. Listen, if I were teaching a political science class, first class, day one, you live by the narrative, you die by the narrative. And people that can control it are like artists. We've all worked on campaigns.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe it's lack of sleep. He just needs to get a nap.
But people that are brilliant at it are brilliant at it. I mean, I actually think
Some second nature.
Yes, and I actually think President Bush, who you worked for, had a lot of people that were poets in controlling the narrative, and it's exhausting for, I think, a lot of people like us to see how ill-served this president is by this specific team.
And it's directly linked to, we look at polls today of why is President Trump in the 30s, you know, or 37, 42%. Because it's the narrative. It's the way the American people, it's what they're hearing. It's how they're thinking about things. And so it's a real problem.
No, I think it is a problem. I think the good news is, in many ways, is that Trump is actually a quick study. I hope that he's watching this. I hope he starts to understand. I hope some senior advisors start to take this a little bit more seriously, and that maybe they see a little bit of a shift and maybe a little bit of a change up this summer.
Do you think that he's someone who looks back and realizes his mistakes and learns from them and changes? Do you think that?
A little bit.
Yeah,
I do.
all right.
At the same time,
He won't admit it. I think he will, but he won't publicly admit it.
Exactly, and it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, but I do think he shifts. I mean, come on, this guy, 18 months ago, people were like, this isn't serious. How can he be president?
Well, he wants to win, right, Ned? I mean,
he wants to win.
He wants high approval numbers. He wants people in the press saying nice things about him.
I actually believe about him that when he promises something, he actually wants to fulfill them. And so I feel like he does feel obligated. I know in the White House, I know Bannon's got this whiteboard where they've made campaign promises and then they're putting policy next to it. He feels he's made promises, he wants to fulfill them. And so I think once he starts to understand, I can't fulfill all of my promises because we're losing the narrative, because we're getting stuck up on this stupid stuff, I think he might start to say, I've got to adjust a little bit. He might not admit it, though, publicly. He probably won't.
He definitely won't.
Never will.
What do you think?
I was checking the cover of Drudge Report.
What is it? Not our Facebook Live?
No turning back.
I don't know what that means.
It's been up there for a while.
I will say, though, that it is still a new administration. They're still young.
We're 4% in.
And, yeah, I mean, I do think jumping
4%.
to 4%.
We don't say that enough.
This is what drives me. Again, this is part of the narrative. We are 4% into this first term. If you want to say 2 terms, we don't know. But the other thing, too, that I'm frustrated by, think about Clinton's first year and the disaster and the political capital that he wasted on Hillary care. People are like, oh, this is terrible. He's going to have art. He got reelected. So I'm like, people just, they lose their minds.
Yeah,
they don't have perspective.
What?
They don't think about what happened in the recent past. 4% in. There's a lot of time. At the same time,
President Trump, I mean, he promised that he was going to be different, that he was going to drain the swamp, that he was going to be able to get things done, unlike we've seen in the years past. That's why it's so important for him to get to get the tone exactly right in the beginning, and not being able to pass health care. I mean, that was not a good place to be.
But this is, again, I think it was a very important lesson. I think they have looked at it. I hope they're learning.
Do you think
Do
Paul
not
Ryan,
let somebody else drive the agenda and the agenda calendar.
Do you think Paul Ryan learned a lesson? That's my concern.
Honestly, no.
You know,
I'm not really sure.
What lesson would you want to
bring everybody to the table sooner? Don't write a bill in secret.
The timing about what you talked about during the TV version of us, actually, that was new information to me. Or maybe I have heard it and forgot it. But why didn't they do it right after the election?
I don't know.
That seemed brilliant to me.
They should have sat down the week after. Thank you. I'll take that as compliment.
You're welcome.
Week after the election and say, we want to do health care, we want to do tax reform, we want to do Veterans Affairs, we want to do infrastructure. We need everybody at the table. We're going to line these bills up one after the other. There's no reason, if you had a strategy, and again, been in D.C. 16 years, you and I both know, people can accelerate an agenda if they want to. They can not have 18 days off in April. They can say, we're not going to take a month off.
Actually do their job.
Do their job.
It was almost like they didn't think President Trump was going to win. Like they didn't have anything prepared. They didn't have anything to put on his desk.
If you were to talk to 95%.
He really tried to counter that because he said before Easter. You're right. I mean, he was trying to keep that promise, but it just was not going to happen.
They should have had them lined up one after the other. I think you could have had some major successes before the August recess.
I agree.
Well, let's hope that things can turn around, not because of us, the media, what we can talk about, but for the American people.
Can we talk about a topic that was supposed to be for the live show when Spicy broke in?
Talk about whatever you want.
Hillary Clinton making this speech, that's what I call him now. Hillary Clinton making this speech in California, sounding a lot like she's on...
The gift that keeps on giving.
We had a thought on the live show, we don't have it now, but she's coming out talking about April Ryan, talking about Maxine Waters, talking about a bunch of different things.
In a leather jacket,
In a leather jacket, a new haircut. Does she run again?
No, but I hope she keeps. I hope she stays out there. I hope she sucks oxygen from the room. I hope that the Democrats, the Democrats at some point have to divorce themselves from the Clintons. They have to say, we're past this. You had your chance. You've actually had multiple chances. We spent $1.3 billion on a losing presidential race that, quite frankly, shouldn't have lost with all the media, with everything that was behind her. And so I'm thrilled that she's out there. I hope she stays out there more because I think it distracts the Democrats from going back and saying, okay, let's have an autopsy. Let's really look at what happened. And I think it's even better now that Perez is in at the DNC. He is cleaning out. It's not unusual for them to clean out former staff when a new chair comes in. But he's cleaning out the people that are getting cleaned out. A lot of Clinton.
I would take a blowtorch to that place.
Right, but they're getting cleaned out with Clinton acolytes.
People, and you know what? Where they should start first, though, is what is our message again?
What's the message? But here's the thing: I don't think they've learned the lesson because I think Perez is going to make this a lot of people that are Bernie-esque that are going to come into the DNC. I don't think they're going to figure out we have to go back to the American worker. And I still think that they're going down this path of becoming the coastal regional party.
Well, look at the DNC competition for the chairmanship, just to take an example. I mean, you had one of the people who was running saying that women should just be reined in and be quiet. I mean, I'm paraphrasing a little, not the reined in part, and then you had others who were tweeting each other, WTF. I mean, if you just take a look at that and the race for speakership and how young Representative Tim Ryan, young relatively speaking to Nancy Pelosi,
minority leader.
She's been in politics forever.
I love that they're like, Tim Ryan could have a future and could reach out to the masses. Let's make sure we annihilate him and never give him a voice anywhere.
Right, and so they've doubled down. I mean, my hope was after the elections that they would reelect Nancy Pelosi as minority leader. Check. I'd hoped that they were going to go down the Keith Ellison path for DNC chair. They didn't, but I think Perez will be just as good for us. So I think he's going to take them even further left. I don't think they've learned their lessons. So as we look at some of these things that are taking place with Trump and the White House and health care, and could have been done a lot better. Let's not forget, the Democrat Party has major issues. I don't think they have a winning message.
They had 8 years.
Do you know what will fix all their problems? Chelsea Clinton running for Senate.
I thought it was mayor.
Whatever. I don't care. I'd love to see her try it.
Photoshop pictures.
Oh, I love
it. Are they real?
it.
Was it Photoshop?
But you know what? No, but that's true. I mean, the Democrats have, what is their bench? Right? You asked if Hillary Clinton's going to run again, but okay, I think Democrats realize she's
New Jersey? I don't know.
Cory Booker. I mean, it's not long
spending
ago.
his time asking out actresses on Twitter.
Mindy.
You guys got it going on. Way to go.
That's right. You got to come back.
I am going to come back.
Yes.
I'm going to insist on coming back.
And come back on a day when they're not going to do a White House.
Spicy doesn't harsh my chill.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.